This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted to be joined with the bounty hunter himself, Mr. Michael Hunter. How are you, mate? How's things? How's things over in America?
Good, man. I'm blessed, man. Every day I wake up and shit. I mean, how can I have any complaints after that? You know what I'm saying? So, just moving.
100%. I see you was back up there on the weekend. And what was sort of because I didn't see it was like weren't on the professional boxing record, but what was you were fighting on Sunday.
Yeah. It was the Team Combat League. It's a new little concept they're trying to bring out. It's a little one-rounder, little scuffle. And it's cool, entertaining. It's fun. The good thing I think as far as the fighters, you really learn you get a full fight experience in 3 minutes. So I'm constantly I've been, increasing my, my experience and stuff like that, just by being in there and having those small increment fights. So it's been very good for me.
What's that like for you? I suppose in like for only 3 minutes of one round, there's all action that's packed in there, and you're trying to get the win. So for yourself, sort of just literally, I know it's not, it's not your 10 rounds or your 12 rounds, but is it nice to just sort of just get out there in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm staying active. It's cool to just, get in the ring. Like I said, it's not a sparring session. It's an actual fight. So you could do 10 rounds of sparring and you're going to learn more in this 3-minute fight than you would in a 10-round sparring session because, it's actually, you actually get to assess it. It was 110% of your efforts. So, you get to see what you could improve on and should improve on in 3 minutes. You don't really have an excuse or any time to make an excuse. So, you have to assess yourself. So it's been fun. It's been cool. It's been keeping me in shape, keeping me active. You know what I'm saying? I've been, keeping the ring rust off of it by doing that. So, it's been cool. It's been a decent experience for me. I'm ready to get back in there in them 12 rounds. I mean, obviously it's real hard to destroy somebody in one round. It's like a clash of the Titans every time. And, it's still it's a work in progress, the whole concept.
100%. Well, we'll get onto yourself. The heavyweight division is moving quickly. It's moving very fast. There's a lot of fights going on. How much do you want to be back in the mix? See, you called out Bakole. You're always calling out guys to fight. How much do you want to be really in the mix? I
mean, I need a fight bad, man. These guys been running for them a long time, but now they're fighting each other. They have to, and we see Tyson Fury's been holding on for a long time. But people got to start getting weeded out. You know what I'm saying? The fighters got to actually start fighting, and only the strong will survive. But when you have people like Tyson Fury playing a certain role, and scared to take certain fights, it just is kind of bad for boxing as a whole. For the sport to be the most competitive. You know what I'm saying? The top of all sports. So. I just have to try to continue to play my role. But I definitely need to fight. I want to fight. I'm ready to step in there. In all circumstances and whatever the situation may be at this point. Right now, I've just been trying to stay busy and lock in a deal. I have a couple of people I've been talking to. Gonna start campaigning real soon. So I'm definitely gonna have my hand in my name in the mix.
And you said there about people being running and this and that, and especially you mentioned Fury there. For someone like yourself, do you feel like you almost get overlooked in a way? You always want the big fights for some reason that especially recently you haven't been able to get them. Is that a frustrating thing for you? Do you feel like sort of people are sort of are trying to avoid you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know what it is. It happened to my father. Thoroughbred fighters. When you don't get that. The big break right from the beginning, you're gonna always have a hard time. And that was basically, that's been my story. And so yeah, all the fighters, they know who I am. They've even been in the ring with me, or they've heard about me. And they heard that I was 10 foot tall, and when the time they get in the ring with me, they can see how big I really am. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This is my life. This is my lifestyle. So I just have to continue to push my energy. I know that the fighting industry and the boxing people, the people in boxing right now, it's 90% business and 10% fighting. So when you get somebody that's a thoroughbred like myself, it's always going to be hard to come in to get fights unless you got those big powerhouses behind you.
Absolutely. Well, I mentioned there about Martin Bakole, and that was a fight that you put it on your Instagram. You called him out. You said about sort of September the 2nd was the date talked about. Was there any talks of that, and sort of why hasn't that materialized now?
Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with the business of Sky Sports. Ben Shalom, they offered the fight, but they offered it to me in a short term notice and wanted me to say yeah, whatever they take. And usually I would have no hesitations. I mean, I did the same thing on the first time with Martin Bakole. I didn't know who he was, and I didn't care who he was. I took the fight on short notice, and I stopped him. So this fight would be no different. It's just that the business that was done prior before with the Huey Fury, wasting a whole year of my career, several years of my career, and then they just tried to approach me on a 2 days to try to take it or leave it. And it just put a bad taste in my mouth on how, Ben and Boxxer over there have, treated me when it comes to that regard. So
do you feel like they were trying to catch you out then?
I wasn't sure and I didn't know. So yeah, I wasn't sure and I didn't know. And, you always have to protect yourself at all times. That's the number one rule in boxing. So, it was I didn't just, tell them, yeah, like I usually do. And when I usually do that, they usually hesitate and step back when I say, yeah, right away. Anytime I've done that, I have to look like I'm fat or injured or something else for them to step in, or I feel like I'm not ready for me to step in. So it's all business. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad business, but business as usual. So I can't do nothing about it but protect my own, you know what I'm saying? And, do the best I could do.
And when it comes to Martin Bakole, he's someone that, Ben Shalom and Billy Nelson, they're always coming out and saying that no one wants to fight him, this and that. You're actively calling them out. You actively want the fight. So and you've got a win over him. So does it frustrate you when you hear things like this?
Yeah, absolutely. But, this just lets me know I'm on his bucket. I'm on his tail. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to come through me eventually, He could try to fight all he wants, and try to, do whatever he wants. But eventually, he's going to have to go through Michael Hunter. And that's the only way to become great for Martin Bakole. It's unfortunate for him, but, he has to get what he deserves.
And especially, I said Billy Nelson there. I done an interview with him when you first called him out, and he said about Billy Nelson was saying that you were talking shit and you didn't want the fight. I mean, how do you respond to that?
I mean, it's funny because of our past history. So, for him to say that, lets me know that they're scared beyond belief. You know what I'm saying? They probably literally have nightmares and literally, wake up with cold sweats thinking about the bounty hunter on his tail. You know what I'm saying? And they used my name. They badmouthed my name one time, or used my name to say that they were fighting me and got some money from Congo. And I thought that was bad. That was a bad look for me and for him as well. So I had hundreds of thousands of Congolese people calling me, asking me if that was true, and which it wasn't. They never even called me at that time. And it just it sucks. So if we ever get in a scrap and we ever getting back in that ring while he's calling out, softer opponents, and trying to antagonize them, if we ever get in the ring, I'm gonna get Congolese money back.
100%. And we'll move on. We'll move on from Bakole. A past opponent of yourself is fighting this weekend. Oleksandr Usyk. He's taking someone from my side of the pond, Daniel Dubois. What do you think of that fight? And do you see any sort of paths to victory for Dubois and potential sort of wins for Usyk?
I think I see an experience and a lesson going to be learned on Daniel Dubois' part. I think that he has to be very strategic in his game plan, and he will find the most success he will with that. I think that if he tries to, do that what he's normally does, and I think he has to think outside the box on this one. Just because of who he's competing against and the task at hand. So he has to throw in certain tactics that are unusual to his camp and his team, and and I think if he does that, then he can have much success.
Absolutely. And moving on from this, whoever wins, you'd want to see. We could potentially see an undisputed fight. I know you want to fight for the world titles, but and you mentioned about Tyson Fury earlier. You think he's sort of running from the half fights. Do you think we will see undisputed in the heavyweight division?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think that Tyson Fury is knows what's going on, and when it comes to he is good, but he's good compared to people that aren't good. So I think that once you get in the ring with people like myself, people like Usyk that are boxers and fleet-footed like ourselves and athletic like ourselves, I think that that's where he's going to have tons of problems. He hasn't really fought anybody like that, and when he did, he's always had trouble. Like Steve Cunningham, you know what I'm saying? He's been dropped, and even the way he won it was a little bit controversial, a little dirty, but and as you see is he stayed away from these type of fighters, and then he has even somebody that's even lesser, I think, feels skilled. Who do you have a problem with before he got cut open on his eye?
Also Allen.
Otto Wallen, and he had a hell of a problem then. So I think that exposure, and we've heard that he got knocked down and dropped in sparring with Big Baby. So these are the type of fighters that he has problems with, and he knows that. It's historical. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is, and I think that him knowing that it's a business and him, being who he is and stuff like that, and scared of to lose his status and to put his status on the line, is going to take $300 million for him to do so. So I think that's what it is.
Another heavyweight fighter that I've sort of got to talk about at the top of the division. I know you sort of want to be in the big fights like this, but another one obviously is from my side. Anthony Joshua is taking on someone from America, potentially Deontay Wilder. I want to see your opinion on how you think that fight is going, and I mean reflecting on AJ's last performance against Helenius.
Right now everybody's giving the edge to Deontay because of the spontaneous combustion, all that power that he has, and his explosivity. So I think that and his instinctual fighting. I think that obviously AJ's more of a plotter. He has to set you up a little bit more and take it a little bit easier. So I think that if Anthony can weather the storm of him getting for the first couple rounds and whether the take some air out of the tires early, I think that he can be in a potential fight. Deontay Wilder is not that great skill wise. We all know that. But he has he has instincts. He's a fighter by nature. And he comes in shape, and he comes ready, and he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's a warrior. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the boxing skills, I would have to give that a little bit edge to Anthony Joshua. But I think it's whoever hits who first. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And just as we sort of close this off, you're talking about potential fights. You want to be back in the big fights. question for you: who's on the hit list? We talked about Bakole. Who is on the hit list for the bounty hunter?
Well, definitely Bakole. We'll see. I think that for me, I just need to stay busy, and the rest will fall in place. I've gotten to the mountaintop quite a few times, but holding the position has been a difficult task for me. So I think that once I close that up, that the world will know who I am, and I'll be in a very similar position as Terrence Crawford, or these guys that nobody really thinks much of until they start whooping on people, and they start getting these opportunities. So I just have to beat down the door.
100%. Michael, do you want to say thank you for taking the time to speak to me? I'm sure you're busy, so I appreciate it, man. It's always good to chat to you.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to jump on your platform and express myself. So much love.
Pleasure's all mine, man. Thank you, brother.